This is fascinating because this is coming about and it's so blatantly obvious. We know that Washington, D.C. was formerly called Rome, Maryland. You've got your 7 hills there, 7 hills of Saturn. This is a pagan religion. Now, there's nothing wrong with paganism. Pagan just means rural. It's what they've done with paganism because they are Satanists. So they take something like, say, the Jewish religion, the Orthodox Jewish religion, or paganism, or alchemy. Anything that works, they believe. And they invert it to back engineer it, also to literally reverse it. It's the reverse of God. They are reversing all these things. So I want to make that clear that there's nothing wrong with like the Kabbalah. It's what they do with it. There's nothing wrong with the tarot. There's nothing wrong with it. These are things that have been used for years. Who am I to judge? It's their inversion and reverse nature of what they do with it. So this is his arch here. And now this is based like quite clearly, and they do talk about this openly, on the Arc de Triomphe. Now I'm sure he likes it because it almost says Trump in it, although his name is Drumpf. So the Arc de Triomphe, Triumph Arc of the Star it means, often simply called the Arc de Triomphe, is one of the most famous monuments in Paris, France. It is located at the western end of the Champs-Élysées, at the centre of the Place Charles de Gaulle, formerly known as the Place del Étoile, named for the star-shaped configuration formed by the convergence of 12 radiating is an important word there again, remember spelling, language, avenues. So that's the 12 months of the year. This is sun god worship. Is it the sun that we're talking about, Sol Invictus, or is this the sun behind the sun, Saturn, the original sun, original sin, the dark sun? Again, remember, they're inverting everything, so it doesn't mean that those who were worshipping the sun gods in Rome were worshipping Saturn on the large scale. There is a cult within that cult that's inverting that and reverting back to the Babylonian Saturn cult. So we have to get our head around the fact that you're like an explorer. You're seeing the cave, which is the outwardly expression of the religion, the faith, and within that, at its very core, that are now driving many of these faiths, is an inversion of that faith. That's what Sabbateans do, Jesuits do, and I'm talking about the inner core of these groups. Again, it's like a shell. A cancerous cell in the middle has got to these factions that were, for the most part, initially positive. So that's what it's based on. It's based on this arch in Paris. Now look where it's located in this image here, street map. Obviously you've got the star in the middle there, the 12 points. It's right in the middle, this arch. So this is the archway. This is the female lady parts that you go through. Or some say it's a male symbol. I would say it's a female symbol. But again, they invert everything. So, the whole point is that it gets twisted. So this female symbol of the arch obviously would be the lady parts, all the way up to the uterus, which would be the house or the big building at the end. Also included in that would be a obelisk. And what do we find in Paris and Washington, D.C.? An obelisk. Because this is all sex magic to these guys. An inversion of sex magic, remember. So it's not the birth of a child. This is the death of everything. That's the way you've got to look at these people. And how do you know they're doing these things? Well, look at the fact that they go and kill thousands of people all around the world. That's all really you need to know in terms of what their intentions are with this alchemical principle, magic. They invert it. I think I've said that enough. I think I might have said invert about 12 times there. This is what Trump, with his I'm a magi in reverse image, who people believe is Jesus, who also was one of the magicians in terms of taking on that archetype, whether you believe it was a real person or not. That archetype of the magician was wrapped into the Jesus narrative that came later after the alleged Jesus lived, if he lived at all. This is how complicated it gets. Well, conflicted and convoluted it gets. And then that is all brought into and conjured up and invoked by Trump with this image now. Of course he knew that was going out. And he says he thought he was a doctor. Well, of course he didn't. He knows that's the Magi card of the tarot, but it's reversed from what it actually means. Instead of pointing upwards, he's pointing downwards, because he's a Satanist and everything is upside down. There are the two Luxor twin towers. Again. So the card that comes after the Magician's card in tarot is, I think it's the High Priestess card. Now that has Yakin and Boaz, the twin towers on it. This stuff isn't done accidentally. Now whether we believe it or not, or it makes any difference, who knows? Well, sorry, that's up to you, but who knows whether it actually does or not. I mean, the belief in it itself can have, and is clearly having, a physical effect on the world, on the material world, because these people believing it are now acting these things out. So it does have a magical effect in that sense. I think the Hollywood narrative of what magic really means takes out the psychological element on purpose, so you see, like, it's out there. It's a power someone else has. But actually, it's quite logical. Really. It's practical magic.
Don't mention the reptiles, Dave.
Even less is said about the Grey Pope, who some believe to be the true ruling power in the Vatican.
Humans emitting a MAC address.
All of them had Bluetooth signals.
I've never seen it before.
Queuing up to transition their children.
This is the ultimate suicide cult.
What if the symbols around us every day aren't just ornamental?
We lost 1,000 years of history.
What if they're instruction?
That state of awareness is not manipulatable.